Haruna, you have been speaking more than everybody because you are the center of this all, but that's fine. Let me come to so Inusaf Hussein is just saying that the guys who were assaulted or beaten at the place have themselves to blame because the party said don't go there. Now that this is happening, I've not seen the party issue a statement. I've rather seen the party in parliament issue a statement. Is the party nonetheless going to take charge of this and fight the cause of the people, even though the party boycotted the election? These are your members who were attacked. We saw it on video. What's the party going to do about this? Does the party have a position on the outcome in terms of the nature of the election? Does the party have a position on it?
Salom, definitely on matters of violence, the party would not sit down and watch. The party would definitely state a position on that. Before members of parliament, the minority did, a consultation was done before. We would, as a party, make our position very clear in terms of what was done. But Salom, Honorable Inusaf Hussein made a very key point that I want to situate it properly. If you pick the suit number GJ/0293/2025, the ruling that was passed at the High Court, there was nothing like recollation. We went for an order of mandamus, and let me read the judgment that was given. On the strength of the authorities cited above and the facts of this case, and the exhibit tendered in evidence, and in answer to the issues set down by the court, supra, I find that the application meets the condition precedent for the grant of the application. Accordingly, the application is granted as prayed, and I make the following consequential orders. A, an order of mandamus directed at the respondent to collate the 62 outstanding polling station results and add same to the already collated polling station results and declare the winner of the Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary elections held on 7th December 2024 through the returning officer as required by law on or before 6th January 2025. To collate, not to recollate. To collate and add on, because the constituency is made up of 281, but they are on this instruction is on 62. So it was to collate and...
Okay, so it couldn't have been not collate because they hadn't done the collation.
It is true that there is nothing like recollation in the CI. That I agree. But the court was very emphatic, collate and add on and declare.
Because there had been no collation.
Yes, there had been no collation. Then the second order was an order directed at the Inspector General of Police to provide adequate and armed security to the respondent at the designated collation centers. 2, enable the respondent to perform his constitutional and statutory duty as contained in Order A. In this case, this was a matter that was before a court. And the Electoral Commission, in seeking to do something different from what the court has said, the inability to implement the court decision was so much on the commission to go back to the court and ask the court that this is what has happened in respect to your orders, and we are asking you for variation or to give us a lead way to conduct a rerun in these particular areas. Without so, and you go into an election that was sole moto decided by the Electoral Commission without the court, was completely something we saw as an illegal. Again, we did not go to the court for only an injunction. We went to the court with a substantive matter, and that is why the judge referred to the substantive case. So our aim was not just to injunct the election.
The injunction was an interlocutory
was something that to stop it once the proceeding continue. So I want to situate this in perspective.
I don't have no problem with the coalition. I agree with the
collation, recollation.
I agree with the clarification. But it comes down again to actually confirm what I've been saying. That at the time that the situation erupted in Ablekuma North, 62 polling stations had not been collated.
And you blame that on the early concession. I see.
No, on that particular early concessions too, it is very difficult to get it and says that it was because of the early concession. It cannot.
But that doesn't stand to reason that if...
No, it's an opinion.
Yes.
I only disagree with his opinion.
That's fine, but we are interrogating that opinion.
Yes.
If we are all fighting. I mean, fighting advisedly. And we are all watching the process because we are only concerned with what is happening where we are at the polling station. Yeah. And the boss throws in the towel. I'll be demoralized. What's the point? Why should I keep fighting? I leave the place demoralized because the boss himself has thrown in the towel. I'm only concerned about what's happening in my polling station. The boss who has a best eye view of everything in all the over 3,000 or so polling stations says, guys, we have lost. Let's just concede and let's go home. That obviously will have a toll on the process.
And then, Haruna, let me add to Salam before you answer. So since the 2 polling stations were not collated, did they include presidential results?
That's the question I was going to. If indeed his declaration, his concession, did affected the result, or did affected what is happening, or did occasion what happened, then the presidential tool wouldn't have been collated.
They are collated that.
Because somebody is interested in making sure that the parliamentary elections results is not collated. Other than that, why is it that they did not center on presidential?
No, I think what happened is they normally finish the presidential. So when they finished the presidential, that's when he and his team had an idea that they had lost.
No, Salam, so
it was.
No. I contested elections 6 times.
Yes.
When your agent enters, you have 2 screens. You have 2 screens. You sit down, presidential results. Then you mention the presidential at the collation center. You mention the presidential results and finish, and you enter and you see it on the screen. But then you move. The agent for the president then moves. Then the agent for the parliamentary comes to sit down and then mention the parliamentary results, and it is inputted.
So
you don't collect presidential results and finish and come back. It's not that.
I get it.
In this case,
I get it.
Presidential collations was not completed by the Electoral Commission.
At the time of the concession.
But
that became moot.
So it became moot. It would have truncated the presidential.
No, but it became moot.
That's what I'm saying.
His concession was not a contributory factor.
No, because the presidential, they
it
are
could be
throwing
an
the towel.
opinion. It could be someone's opinion you can't take away because we are right to opinion. So I am telling you that in my opinion, it was not a contributory factor to what happened.
But support your opinion. The opinion you must support. He has supported his opinion. And we are saying that the presidential didn't matter at that point because the guy said he had lost.
The point is, my opinion.
The guy said he had lost. So we didn't have to concern ourselves with the presidential. But what was outstanding was the parliamentary. He couldn't have considered on behalf of all parliamentary candidates. So that was outstanding. But because the presidential was so huge and the guys that have lost, so let's sleep. The people now were demoralized and there was no need to continue the process.
Is it?
And the other guys were jubilating. The place became chaotic.
It's difficult to measure mood. Very difficult. Demoralized is a mood. It's difficult to measure mood. And in this particular
this is the headline I'm giving you. It is difficult to measure mood.
Yes. How do you measure somebody?
Why do people are demoralized?
I can be laughing and I am not okay. Do you get the point? So it's very difficult to measure mood. It's a perception. So that is why I'm not saying that what his opinion is wrong.
Very well.
I am disagreeing with his opinion.
Very well. That's fine.
And I'm saying that the
fine.
fact of the case is that Dr. Bawumia spoke on the basis of the data that was available to him from the coalition center. And that is why he did the concession.
Very well. Now deal with me on the address for me the chaos. You boycotted it. The people were there on the frolic of their own. What would the party do? Would the party say, I told you so? I told you not to go. You went and then you have this, so blame yourselves. Or the party will assume responsibility and then fight for them if there is any fight at all?
Salam, there's always a separation. Violence is not part of electoral process.
Okay.
Much as we boycotted or our non-participation in the election does not give us the leeway to say because violence has been occasioned in that particular election that we don't believe in, we cannot speak about the violence. Violence is not part of any of the processes of elections, i.e. in the Constitution, also in CI 127. So we would not separate it, and we make sure that violence must be dealt with, aside our position of not to talk about the elections, because we don't believe that the elections was legal. But after the violence, the party will deal with it. It's very unfortunate what happened. Very, very unfortunate what happened yesterday. If the NDC indeed complained that something happened in Ayawasu, that something happened in Techima, and it is a justifiable reason to do what they did, forgetting about what happened in Talensi, forgetting about what happened in Akwetia, forgetting about what happened in Charpani, and they have to do this, it means that it will continue in perpetuity. This is very barbaric. This is very insane. This is something we must all condemn. And I believe that the Ghana Police Service left their job and what happened in the morning to the stage on which the elections were upheld. This was something that was planned. People were even arrested in uniform, and they had to come in with their own. And remember, President Mohammed told us that when it comes to violence, nobody beats them to that.
But Nanado also said, "Echomo kakra, echomo ade kakra or akutia."
I can't.
You can't remember that.
You know, because he explained it. But President Mohammed's own was that they are the kingpins of violence.
But
nobody can beat them to violence. And that is why when you are aligning Dr. Baumia's concession, I tell you that people who have had violence in nature, who were created out of violence, perpetuated that violent activity to inure to their benefit.
So would you say that what we saw, for example, not to equalize, in Ayawaso West Wuogon, which people have described as state-sponsored terrorism on innocent people who were coming to vote, will you also blame that on the NPP, which was in government?
You see, there are differences between Ayawaso West Wuogon and this one. Ayawaso West Wuogon was the NDC facing off with security. That's the national security. They faced off with them. They brought boys from Tamale. They did what they did. It occasioned what happened in Ayawaso West Wuogon. So in this particular scenario, it is the hoodlums within the NDC, youth within the NDC, who have openly, some judge has said it, justified it.
That's what
the National Women Organizer, go to his X page.
No, because I read it.
Yes,
he said,
and then the National Women Organizer,
about his own
the
case.
National Women Organizer also justified it. You get the point? So this is clearly telling you that the NDC clearly orchestrated what happened. They know these were their party people who went out to do what they did. And this is not the same thing as what happened in Ayawaso West Wuogon. And we must clearly condemn that. This is a country that we all know that as a party in 2019, there was a passage of Vigilantism Act. If the NDC had disbanded their vigilantes, even in the 2024, what happened wouldn't have happened. Read the Kodeo CDD joint press release. Read the kind of violences that happened.
And they named the NDC as being the people
you check what happened in Damongo. It is there. I just mentioned NDC, but the violent activities everybody know. In Damongo, who were the people beating up the people? Who were the people who burned the Electoral Commission office? In Ayansiano, who were the people? These are cases that are cited on such report. Kodeo, CDD, and other organizations. It is cited. The number of people who have died, over 76 cases of electoral violence that were reported, a number of them that have been broken down and put into several thematic areas. I think that we must not condone this activity. You see, when a political party refuses to obey the laws of the land, that is a result that we get in. It's very unfortunate.
All right,
you see, if all parties are to put their internal security together, you think that Ghana elections will not have bloodshed? We must find a turning point to say that, look, let's stop this.
Let me go to security analyst and then come. So just land and let me go to security. Because
so
make his point.
We condemn this violent activity that has happened in that particular unrecognized elections in Ablekuma North constituency.
It's not recognized.
We don't recognize it because the Electoral Commission doesn't have the power to ask for rerun. And I have spoken law. I've quoted. Yes, if I'm not a lawyer, I have the right to read the Constitution.
That's fine.
Yeah, if you are not a lawyer, you have the right. I've quoted provisions in CI, which is the law that regulates elections in Ghana. They don't have the mandate to call for a rerun. They don't. I've quoted that. And we went to court. If you need variation, court order that is not, you go back to the court. So you cannot arrogate to yourself such power. So we condemn what happened in Ablekuma North, and we hope that the IGP will work and ensure that we bring the perpetrators to book.
Very well.